find honey in cinder block corners. Alone, you wait quietly at the table, the kid visitors swarming the humming vending machines full of packaged sweets. You give a small ticket to the guard so he can take a picture of us together. My soft brown shirt that says peace, your uniform like a white set of scrubs, the feel of your arm around my shoulder, the recognized weight of leaning into you, us smiling for the Polaroid as I remember to remember this. A story for later, a small square of memory, the sharp corners stinging. This is called Our Pompeii. Not like the Bastille song. Think of it like a wax museum. Substitute volcanic ash for August air thick with near rain. The exhibition's focal point will be plaster forms of us, the moment when the city of us imploded. This science of remembering will preserve it all. Me standing in the doorway, you reversing the car, your collar straightened by my screaming hands. Think of our Pompeii as a place we vacation to, foregoing salted shorelines and houses crammed on hills like boxes in a pantry for the chance to see our best possible poses of parting words that landed silent as ash. Okay, so the next one's called Everyday Natsuke. Natsuke kind of refers to traditional miniature Japanese sculptures that had a functional purpose, but over time developed an aesthetic purpose as well. It's a really quick and not really great explanation, but that's where the title comes from. My friend Catherine likes to tell a story about her old coat with a hole in the lining. How like a magician with a sleeve of scars, she managed to pull out all the detritus that slipped through. Euro coins, a Galway bus ticket, a dry ballpoint pen. I am always finding a way to quietly keep track of those small inconsequentials of a self. The old cross necklace hung on the rear view, spare buttons to favorite thinning sweaters, the slender ribbed hairpins I left on your bedside table. But when the kids I look after stop mid-step on the sidewalk to squint at a squished berry, a gum wrapper, a plastic bead, maybe lost bird feathers or a dying steak, I rush to block their hands, saying, just look and don't touch that, it's trash. I pull open the crooked right drawer of my old yellow desk, find the sticky note you hung on my door. Never so warm in person, the note has a smiley face, an XOXO sign-off that makes me pause, then place it back among the crooked paperclip noise. So this next one, I'm a nanny. That's what I do, also part-time. And there's this children's book that my 2-year-old has about understanding ecosystems and pond ecosystems. And there was this image in the book of sort of like a side-slice view of a pond. And so you can see sort of the concave shape of the pond and the water and the mud underneath the water. And these images, side-slice images of these animals burrowed in the mud under the water. And for some reason that image stuck with me. So the poem is not addressed to the 2-year-old, which is important. But that's sort of where the images for the poem came from. So it's called All the Animals Underneath. In the glossy children's book I found on your bedroom shelf, Two Awake to Sleep Next to You, the one about your pond and the animals in it, there was the image of the animals in states of hibernation. Fish, frogs, insects cocooned in brown. I like this idea of all the animals underneath in holes beyond a sense's reach, the ground porous and unstable. I want a subterranean slumber to wind my way underground and erase your absence with unconscious, unaware dreams. Later, my bones could emerge cold and slow. You'd have to fit me to yourself, adjust my elbow and wrist so my hand could rest above your heart. Because when you did that on a Sunday afternoon, I sunned myself in our possibility like it was a river rock. I never told you, but that gum made your breath like winter, a mint so sharp it hurt. So the next one, the night that this happened was actually a really funny night. We threw a Christmas party, then went to this other party, and got really drunk, and we were crying for no reason. And what happened in the middle of all of that was actually what the poem is about. So the poem is so serious, and it's still very serious to me, but like everything else that surrounded that night was really, like, we woke up laughing about it, but this was like the one thing from that night that I woke up thinking, that's something I want to, or care about it and I want to write about. But so it's a mixed bag, like most things are. It's called The Body on the Interstate. The Friday night Atlanta traffic jam on the I-75, I-85 connector confused us. Me pumping the brakes among hundreds of cars, trickling by like a chorus of motors humming, whirring. Loudly silent along the organ pipe skyline, we all saw it, head to toe, horizontally covered in a sheet, an arc of police cars as its shield. I assumed it was a man. He could have been wide-eyed, finding Orion's belt pin-cushioned in the December sky. We got to the party late, you saying at the red light as we exited, that's why people should wear their seatbelts. I pulled you into the kitchen, away from the noise, hid between you and the wall, touched the parts of your throat where the skin sank effortlessly into a steady pulse. Later, when I was champagne crying on a couch, you told me this was why we could never work, how I cared too much, and it didn't even move you. So my parents divorced when I was like 2 years old, so I never grew up knowing them as married, and I always just knew them as like two separate people, two separate places. It's not a sob story, it was just my life, like, whatever. But it was always weird for me to think about, oh yeah, I guess there was this one point in time when they were two people living together, and I know a lot about how they feel about each other just from stories they'll say about each other. So it's just always something that's interested me, so that's what this is about. It's called Memories of My Parents. I was the second baby who couldn't save the marriage like Mom had hoped, but still it made for a good story. Her telling me I was conceived at the Ritz-Carlton in Amelia Island. You were a luxury baby, she'd say. My parents, two blue-collar 20-somethings from tight-fisted, sort of loving homes, had perfected hating themselves long before they ever met at the office. Babies accidentally dropped while Dad sleepily opened the fridge for a night feeding, the remote he threw, carving a scar across Mom's ear, Grandma Johnny telling her, Kim, if you would just keep your mouth shut, maybe none of this would be happening. A kid, I'd spin in the swivel desk chair in the kitchen at Dad's as he washed brunch dishes, and once we had a conversation about Mom. I love your mom, he said, pausing. I'm just not in love with her anymore. Even on the night when we got the call from the Forsyth County Jail, even when I keened, curled up into something animal-like, slick and alone and unnatural, she crooned into my hair, I know your dad is deep down a good person. Before the brunch talk, before the prison visits, there was this. Mom suddenly sick and dying in the hospital, swimming in near death, coming up to the surface by summer's end. I had a dream Kevin visited me. He was crying, she told my aunt. It wasn't a dream, my aunt said. You didn't make that up. Okay, I've got two more. Is that okay? We good? Solid? Cool. So this one takes place at a Civil War era farm. So it's sort of like one of those places where you go and like people are dressed in character from 1864. That's just probably helpful context for you. Okay, what the blacksmith said. We drifted through the farmhouse, the tour guide rehearsing how hard it was to tighten 70 feet of rope that held up the straw-filled mattress, how velvet lined the writing desk to absorb all the ink. We ate overpriced, meager barbecue, pepper finding its way between my teeth, you telling me a button was open on my shirt. Kids made candles, we just stole the wicks. I tied the string around my finger like a clever joke. I've got something to remember. You made your s'more in seconds, eyes streaming from the open fire, me dropping my chocolate bit in the gravel, fingers marshmallowed. We watched the blacksmith in the dark barn, the old bellows hanging overhead like a silent body bag, coals like a stone-framed sunset, the friendly apprentice chatting about his work, about iron, about the craft. I can't do with wood what I can do with iron. You muttered so many hours, marveling at each piece of art, vine-like railings, a lone tentacle, ambiguous shapes of both function and aesthetic. When I walked back to my car in the cold, wishing you would follow me, knowing you wouldn't, I thought about how soon you would pull your life across empty Alabama and its highways, fingers of rivers in the Delta, into lonely Texas counties I'd likely never see. All those white oaks adorned with distrustful squirrels, bitter grackles, waxy leaves, withering Spanish moss. The last one is hopefully sort of happy. Now that girl didn't press. Okay, it's called When You Came Out to Me. You say it like opening mail, careful, like you don't want to rip anything, like it's no surprise, just folded paper. You tell me in the dark, as we drive along Monroe-Madison Highway before sunrise, winding past cow fields to hit I-20 east, onto Augusta, Columbia, Wilmington. We face forward. I think someone said love is two people next to each other looking in the same direction. It doesn't occur to me until later that you were born at night. I waited for hours in a glassy room with a plastic slide. After walking the riverside docks, shooting a few pictures with the same round faces, I ride in the passenger seat for your driving practice, coaching you through lane changes as you knuckle my steering wheel back to Georgia, sweating and singing to the radio. We return the way we came, our voices low in the faceless, familiar space between us, driving in the dark. Thank you guys so much.